right? It takes more faith to actually let something happen, right, than to try to control the outcome. Because if you got to a place where you can just let it happen because you know that something is already done for you, then you can start walking by faith and not walking by your sight, because your sight will always lie to you, right? And you can never get a new expectation looking at an old circumstance. Anytime you look at something, that's an old circumstance. So if you looked at the back office today, that's an old circumstance. It's in your past. If you look at your trading account today, that's an old circumstance. It's in your past. And you can't get a new expectation by focusing on an old circumstance. The people that are true leaders in life, people like Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, they were so good at focusing on the future while they lived in the present. And that's what you got to do in this business, right? That's what you got to do in life, period. You got to get to a place where you can focus on the future, but still live in the present. But your focus isn't where you are right now. Because again, if your focus is where you are right now, you can never have a new expectation for something more. And if your focus is on your current circumstance, there's going to be a certain type of feeling that comes with that that's going to mess you up. And that's what's going to force you to try to manipulate something that shouldn't be manipulated. Sometimes, again, it takes more faith to just let it happen than trying to control the outcome. Because when you try to control the outcome, you end up carrying weight that you weren't supposed to carry. You end up doing more stuff that you wasn't supposed to do. You end up having more tasks and more assignments that you really wasn't supposed to have. But you did it to try to create something, to try to control the outcome, when your faith has to be vulnerable. And sometimes you just got to let it happen. And that's why it's so hard for people to truly have faith, because they have to be the ones controlling the situation. They have to be in total control over what's happening in their life. And again, when you try to control it, when you focus on what's happening right now, there's certain type of feelings that come. There's certain type of feelings that come, right? And so many people, they get caught up on living life with their senses, right? Touch, feeling. They get caught up on living life with their senses and not through their faith, right? What they see determines how they feel. I was reading the book of The Science of Getting Rich. I tell people all the time, The Science of Getting Rich and Think and Grow Rich are the two greatest books that you can read outside of the Bible. Not even a debate. Right? After the Bible, Science of Getting Rich and Think and Grow Rich. All three are manuals for life, literally all three. And in Science of Getting Rich, it says that the hardest thing for people to do, listen to me, the hardest thing for people to do is think regardless of appearance. That's the hardest work on earth, to think regardless of appearance. Because a lot of people, again, what they see determines what they feel. What they see determines what they feel, but also where you sit determines what you see. I'm going somewhere. I need you to really follow me. For a lot of people, what they see determines what they feel, but where they sit determines what they see. And see, that's why you got to walk by faith and not by sight. Because when you walk by faith, your faith is in somebody else that's sitting in a different place. They're sitting from a different point of view, and they can see the field differently than you can. And that's where your faith has to be at. Because again, if you're living life going by what you see, no faith, then you can't physically see everything that's coming. But if your faith is in the right place, guess what? That person sits high, that person looks low. That person can see things that you cannot physically see. And if your faith is there, you can't live with your sight, because what's in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, will always lie to you, right? What's in front of you will always lie to you. Your sight never tells you the truth. Never. Your sight can never tell you the truth, because again, your sight is an old circumstance. The back office, when you looked at it this morning, it's an old circumstance. Your trading account, when you looked at it 30 minutes ago to see if you had stop loss to take profit, it's an old circumstance. But if you have the faith for something more, guess what? greatness can really take root in your life. But a lot of times, remember, like you said in the book, The Science of Getting Rich, a manuscript for life, one of the manuscripts for life, the hardest thing for people to do is think regardless of circumstances, think regardless of appearance. Because again, when you see something, it determines how you feel. But that's why you got to walk by faith until your feelings to catch up. That's a nugget. You might want to write it down. You got to walk by faith until your feelings to catch up to where your faith is at. Because if you live life going by how you feel, guess what? There's certain things that you won't be doing on a day-to-day basis that's going to help you get the result that you want out of this life. So I believe, guys, that your faith is what's going to create whatever it is that you want to see manifest in your life. We've spoken so much about the faith word, and I believe that it's the foundation for everything. I believe that you got to be rich in faith first before you ever get rich in your finances. I believe that you have to be rich in faith first before you ever get rich in your finances. That's why I'm so grateful that is so many resources are on YouTube. I mean, people like Michael Todd, they can help you really understand that in a deeper way than I can right now at this moment. But you want to tap into all these resources so that you can really, really get your faith up, because at the end of the day, everything that you want, everything, every miracle that you want, every whatever the case may be, a certain type of money, a certain type of home, a certain type of relationship, right, is going to come to you through your faith, right? It's going to come to you through your faith. And I believe that once you really understand that foundational principle of everything, things are going to begin to happen in your life that you won't be able to understand. There's going to be things that happen in your life that you won't be able to really grasp. And again, you're going to have a certain type of faith that people around you really won't understand. You're going to have a certain type of peace, right? The peace that surpasses all understanding, because your faith is so freaking strong. See, a lot of people ask me, Riyad, how do you have so much peace? How come you're never like flustered? How come you're never like out of the loop? Like, how come you always seem to be on like beat? Well, I know where my faith is sitting at. I know where my faith is sitting at. See, and there's nothing that can riddle my faith, if you will, because I understand that anything that comes to me in the physical world is just sight. It's just sight. And it tells me a lie. So on your journey to building this business, you got to understand these principles, because every time you blow an account, guess what? It's just setting you up for success. It's actually allowing you to really, really, really build your faith to see how bad you want something, because nothing worth having truly comes easy. Because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. If it was easy, everybody would be trading. If it was easy, everybody would be building a business to a successful level. But why were you called to do this? Why were you chose to do this? How come you're the person that paid the $225 and you're still here? How come that's you? Because you're here to be creating something that otherwise won't be created in your family lineage if you don't do it. But guess what that requires? That requires a whole lot of faith. That requires a whole lot of faith. And see, a lot of times, the reason why I say people don't really have faith is because when things hit them in their reality, they fold. They give up, they quit. They go right back to what they were trying to get away from because of what was happening in front of them. But faith tells you that you can't live by your sight. You have to live by your faith. Because when you live by your sight, there's a certain type of feeling that's going to be created. That feeling could be one of negativity, and that feeling keeps you in the bed when you should be getting up in the morning. That feeling stops you from showing the plan because what's happening in front of you. Oh, I blew an account. I don't want to share the plan today. I blew an account. It does. You know how many times I blew an account and had to go do an event or did a webinar the same day? Because what was happening in front of me, literally, it doesn't matter. Everything is just a testing of your faith. And see, God can't even take you where your faith can't sustain you. So you can't go to six figures yet because your faith won't sustain you there, because there's going to be challenges when you get to six figures. And if you don't have the faith to sustain it there, guess what? You're going to go right back to a job. You're going to go right back to where you're trying to run away from. And that's why we have challenges. That's why we have these tests in life, because at the end of the day, God, you got to understand this key here. You're going to live by faith or you're not going to live at all. You're going to live by faith or you're not going to live at all. What I mean by that is everything was created through faith. Everything, no matter what it is, this hoodie I got on, created through faith, AirPods, like all that stuff was created through faith. So, and what that means is the person that designed this ring here, they had to see the ring here in their mind first before the ring ever got on my finger. They had to see it somewhere else first. Guess what? Faith is just believing in something that you can't see. So you're going to live by faith or you're not going to live at all. And what happens is when you don't live by faith, you just start existing. You just start surviving in life, and you just kind of, you're like a car in neutral. Get this image. You're like a car in neutral. And anytime a car sits in neutral, any outside force can push the car wherever they want the car to go. You have no drive. You have no ambition. You have nothing pulling you and driving you every single day. But when you put the car in drive and you step on the gas, guess what? There is no outside force that can push you anywhere. But when you sit in neutral, when you just sit there and you don't do anything, life can come push you. Relationships can come push you. Outside factors can come push you. Student loans can come push you. Georgia Power, Florida Power can come push you. Verizon can come push you. All these bills that start stacking up can come push you. The affairs of life can come push you. All the challenges can come push you wherever they want you to go. But see, every challenge creates some type of change in your life. But again, you have to let it. You have to let it. I remember I did a video a while back on my Instagram, and it just dropped in my head just now, just dropped in my spirit. And it said, on the video, I was talking about fire. And see, fire can actually burn things, and fire can also transform things. And sometimes you can't really fight the flames of life. You just got to allow your faith to be built within the flames of life. So when life is challenging you, when the back office is going backwards on you, when your trading account is like blowing, when you're used to being 10 for 10, but now you're 2 for 10, whatever the case may be, you got to understand that this is literally just like fire that can burn you away, or can transform you into a different person, or transform you into something pure, just like fire transforms and purifies gold. But guess what the book says? Your faith is more precious than gold. So gold, what people will kill for, what some of y'all was trading today, gold, your faith is more precious than that. And that's why you got to refine it every single day. That's why you got to really understand what this faith stuff is about, because the miracles that you want to see happen in your life, they're going to manifest in your life through your faith. It's not going to happen through your work. Your work is just part of it. Faith and work together, that's what creates a breakthrough. But your faithfulness is also going to be anchored in your consistency. Your consistency to show up. Your consistency to keep showing a plan. Your consistency to keep trading. Your consistency to get on the call every single Monday. Every single Monday, this call happens. And your faith is going to be rooted in how consistent you can be, even when you don't feel like it. You think I feel like doing these calls every Monday? No, I don't. I don't. But see, at the end of a feeling is nothing. At the end of faith, it's a promise. See, I got to get on these calls. That was a word for you. At the end of your feelings is nothing. At the end of your faith is a promise. See, your faith requires some type of action. Your faith requires some type of work. Your faith requires some type of service to other people. Your faith requires some type of good deeds. See, I've been doing these calls every single Monday for like 2 years now. Every Monday. I think we probably only missed like 3 or 4, right? These calls have been consistent. Why? Because I have faith that through these calls, breakthroughs are going to happen. People that will want to quit the business, they're going to stay in the business. People that are going to get that faith boost that they need to really start building the business. Somebody's going to hear something, not even from me, but from a Brittany Jack, from an Ebony Austin, from a Sidney Jones, from a Gio, from a JVL, right? From a Mufi, from a Jamar. They're going to hear something from somebody, and that's what's going to make them get out there and go into action when otherwise they wouldn't have. This call here is a platform to increase faith. This call here is a platform to increase Believe. That's why sometimes you may not hear me. You may hear from a Jada. You may hear from a Brit. You may hear from somebody else. Because everybody has a different type of story that's going to push somebody or going to motivate somebody else to get out there and go into action every single day. That's why I got to be on these calls every single week. Every single week, because you don't know what's going to happen. It's like when I would be in church and I would miss church as a kid growing up, or somebody would miss church as a kid growing up. And that Sunday that you missed church was the Sunday where the pastor or whoever could have said something that could have hit you and really drove you. But you missed it, right? You never know where it's going to come. And that takes so much faith. Listen, that takes so much faith to show up, because sometimes something may have to come to you from somebody else that's not in your circle, your surroundings, right? You may live in Alabama and there's nobody around you in that part of Alabama that can give you the message or give you whatever you need to get into action, but you get on this call on a Monday and that somebody else from another part of the world, from another part of the USA, they said, and that was right for you. But if you miss it, you never know when it's going to happen. That's why it's so important that you're consistent every single week. You're getting on the calls, right? Because again, at the end, because somebody not on the call tonight because, I don't feel like hearing Riyadh talk about faith. I don't feel like hearing shout outs. That stuff gets repetitive. That stuff is mundane. If you master the mundane, you'll make millions. If you master the mundane, you'll make millions. For the past 3 years, guess what? This is mundane. Getting on calls, mundane. Going to events, mundane. Doing trainings, mundane. Showing a plan, mundane. It's boring over and over and over and over. But you know what else is boring? You know what else is boring? I've never had to experience this, but from what people tell me, you know what else is boring? Going to work every single day. Looking at the same check every single week. That would be boring to me. Looking at 5 people touch my check before I even touch my check. FICA, Uncle Sam, Social Security, all these other people. That to me is boring. Me traveling across the world, New York, Cali, Chicago, Alabama, North Carolina, Florida, like that's fun. I'd rather do that than sit at somewhere I don't want to be every single day, sit somewhere where I don't feel fulfilled every single day, sitting somewhere where I can't really serve other people how I want to every single day, sitting somewhere every single day where my energy is getting drained from me by the people that I work with, by my manager. I just get drained on the drive to work every single day. That to me is boring. But getting on a call like this and hear success from people all across the world, man, listen. Sometimes I wish I could be the brand new person sitting on these calls. I wish, because I know what the energy is like. I know what the energy is like. And if I'm a brand new person and I just started and today is my first call, and at 5 o'clock, I just got off a job that I didn't want to be at, and I see this dude in this black hoodie talking about how to build my faith and how to go to the next level, and he's a chairman 50, and I was just at a job, man, I'll be on the phone, I'll be on the call every week. Shout out to you, Kelly, take your first call. And after I got on one, I would never miss another one. Especially if he's talking about things that I've never heard before. I can guarantee you that you've never heard at the end of your feelings is nothing, and at the end of your faith is a promise. I guarantee you've never heard that before. That came to me from the Spirit. You probably never heard that before. Walk by faith and tell your feelings to catch up. Yeah. I will be here every single Monday. Not because I'm good, but the person that gives me this stuff to tell you, right? He's good. He's good. And this is the only way, this is the only reason that I went, me, Cool Jones, from a twin size bed 3 years ago, right, to now chairman 50. My wife is the chairman, and that's over $70,000 a month coming into the crib. Like, that only came through faith. I had nothing to do with that. I'm just the person that was chosen. But guess what? You're called to do something inside of this whole thing as well. There are people in your network that will never hear about creating wealth if you don't tell them. There are people that are in your network that will never know about trading, building a network of people, residual income if you're not the one to tell them. There are people that are going to be depending on you by faith in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, your sons, your daughters. You may not have them today, but if you have faith, you'll know you have a family one day, and your decision that you make today, the price that you pay today is going to determine if your children have to pay a price tomorrow. Because my 2 sons, they won't have to pay a price. Daddy paid it for them. You understand what I'm saying? My 2 sons won't have to pay a price because daddy paid it for them. And it's so much power in saying that. It's so much power in saying that. Because if you live in life just for you, you're selfish. If this life you're living is all about you and your bills, you're selfish. You're selfish. There's no service in that. There's no fulfillment in that. Seeing my mom back office say Platinum 600, that's fulfilling. Seeing her getting a check next Friday for Platinum 600, 150, her first check, fulfilling. Never done this before. She's getting paid, only been in 3 weeks or like a month, right? That's fulfilling to me. Watching all you guys rank up, that's fulfilling. When JVL hit chairman, I cried. Boo tears, cried. That's fulfilling to me. He's 19 years old, making $10,000 per month. If I didn't say yes, if Gio didn't say yes, if Chad Thompson didn't say yes, if David Imonitie didn't say yes, if Alice Morton didn't say yes, do you understand that none of this will be happening right now? So you got to understand what you're a part of at this moment. And you can't take it for granted. You gotta find your gratitude every single day, no matter if you're having success or not. Because when I was sleeping on the twin size bed at my parents' house, wishing I had money, wishing I had a foreign car, wishing I could buy all the designer clothes, guess what? I was grateful for where I was at. I was grateful for where I was at. Very grateful for where I was at, but I wasn't satisfied with where I was at. And I knew my faith had to be extended so I can go even further. Because you won't work if you don't have the faith for something else to come into your life. You understand how important faith is? You won't work. See, the reason why you're not working your face off right now is because you don't have true faith that something else is going to happen because of your work. That's what this whole thing boils down to. That's the only reason why David Imonitie works so damn hard, excuse my French. But he has faith for 1,000 Chairman 10s. See, the only reason Alex Morton works so hard is because he has faith in the next 9 years for 10,000 millionaires. That's why he works so hard. That's where his faith is at. But see, the faith has to be backed by action. See, if you're not working right now, it's because you don't have faith for some type of vision that you created. But if you did, you'll get up and work every single day. You'll travel all across the world. You'll spend time away from your son. You'll spend time away from your wife. You'll just do it, and you'll tell them it all makes sense. It all makes sense. I'm telling you, it really works. Faith, it works. Literally, it works. But you have to work it. Faith works. Faith speaks. Right? When you have faith for something, you'll be speaking it all the time. That means you'll be hearing it all the time. Whatever you continue to hear repetitively, it gets transferred into your heart, which is your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is your only way to God. Your subconscious mind is the only way to God, not your conscious mind. Right? Not just what you speak, just off the top of your head. It's what you feel with emotion. What you speak and feel with emotion. What you pray with emotion. That's the only way to get to God. And your subconscious mind, I call it the God mind. It's the only way. It's the doorway. It's literally the doorway. It's the gateway. And you got to understand that. That's why seeing stuff all the time, writing a vision down all the time, seeing it all the time, speaking it all the time, getting around other people that have visions so that your vision can begin to really, really live. And that's what the community is for. That's what this investment group is for. That's what the Telegram chat is for. You're around other people that have a vision that they really believe in. And because they believe in it, guess what? You believe in your vision. They believe in their vision. We have an overall vision that everybody's believing in. Man, that's how you really create something. See, Bamboo Season is only happening because so many people really believe in Bamboo Season. It wasn't just me. It wasn't just me. It was everybody's faith that believed in it. Right? So I'm telling you, you have the shot here to really, really do something that can change every single thing about your life. Every single thing. But you just have to believe it. You just have to believe it. And there's a certain type of action that always follows belief. There's a certain type of action that always follows belief. And when you work at it every single day, when you show up every single day, when you get on these calls every time the calls are happening, when you get on the 7-figure mentorship calls, when you travel, when you do things like go to the iMillennials 2 event, if you're a young millennial or you're just anybody that wants to go in Houston, Texas, the following week, boom, we got another event here in Atlanta, literally 7 days later, right? That your faith is going to be tested right there. Do I want to go to 2 events back to back or do I want to save my money?
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
You need to jump on this motivation mindset call.
Yeah, tell him to get on the call. He tripping. But yeah, so your faith is going to be tested right there. Like, dang, do I really want to sacrifice and go to 2 events back to back to start the year? To start the year? Like, seriously. That's how we're starting the year in 2020. You understand what I'm saying? 2 events back to back. One in Houston, one in Atlanta. One is January, I think like 10th or something like that. The next week we're in Atlanta, January 17th. So guess what? You just heard it in October. It's basically October right now. So that means you got like 90 days to prepare a couple $100 to be at both events. And then guess what? In February, if you really have faith, if you really believe that something's going to happen to you inside of this business, guess what? Guess where you're going to be at? You're going to be in London. You're going to be in London. And then you're going to take a little chill time, right? You're still going to be working, showing a plan. But then once the summer gets here, guess where you're going to be at? You're going to be in Vegas at the next convention. You're going to be in Vegas right at the next convention. And then guess what? There's going to be more events after that. And guess what events do? Events help your belief system go up. You're going to see people that have created success through trading. You're going to see people that look like you, that look different from you, that have all created success, or they may not have created success, but they're going to be at the event because you need the events until the events start needing you. And the events will never need you. I promise. They'll never need you. They will never need you. You need the events. So you got to show up. You got to show up. People will text me about the call. But again, guys, understand this, man. All right, understand this. God can't take you where your faith cannot sustain you. That is the biggest point I need you to really, really get. Because there are some people that have gotten to places, right? And when they got there, well, no matter, it could have been a rank, it could have been a certain level of trading, whatever the case may be, but life hit them in the face. It could have been a pullback in the business. It could have been a blown account. They could have blown a couple $1,000s. And guess what? Their faith was so weak in that moment that their language changed. We'll put it like that. Their language changed. Not just people in the organization, people all across IML. Their language changed. People all across the industry of network marketing, people all across the industry of the life period. They could get to a certain place, life hits them in the face, and when life hits them in the face, their language begins to change about how they view what it is that they do. Oh, I don't really want to do that trading stuff no more. Oh, you know what? That building, Yeah, I went platinum 1,000, but you know, that building stuff, I just want to focus on trading. That's how you know somebody got hit in the face by life. When they had a dream, when they had a vision to do something and they were doing it, they was running. And then something happened. Oh, I just want to chill. I just want to do X, Y, and Z. I don't want to do what I signed up to do. Oh, the emotion that I had left my body, so I ain't as committed as I used to be. But I'm still here. Yeah, I ain't trading no more. I ain't even in my demo no more, but I'm supporting everybody else. See, you can't just have faith for you can't just have faith for things that happen for other people. You gotta have faith that things can happen for you too. Oh man. Whew, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because understand this, lack of exposure is lethal. But with the right exposure, you can become legendary. Lack of exposure is lethal, but with the right exposure, you can become legendary. See, sometimes, so doing this whole faith thing, and I'm gonna talk about faith until I die, literally because this is what's helped me create success. And I tell people all the time, you can't show anybody how to go somewhere that you've never been before. And when you get there, you have to know exactly how you got there so you can go back and show somebody how to do it. I can't teach y'all anything that I don't know. So if faith is mundane for you, I'm sorry, but I will keep showing up. I will keep showing up if I was you, right? Because here's the deal. Lack of exposure is lethal. The right exposure can make you legendary. What do I mean by that? See, sometimes God can expose you to his portfolio of work. He'll show you what he did in a David E. Monetier life. He'll show you what he did in the Alice Morton life. He'll show you what he did in a Tyler Perry's life, right? You want to go big. He'll show you what he's done in a LeBron James life. He'll show you a whole portfolio of work to show you what he's capable of. He'll show you that. The only thing it takes for you to do is believe that he can do the same or something similar for your life, because he showed it to you for a reason, and he'll never expose you to something that you can't have. So when you get exposed to somebody like myself, right? You guys heard the story when I first hit Chairman 25, like about to get evicted, car got repossessed. Like, I mean, I showed you the documents. I showed you the proof that this thing is real. Like, we was struggling. I lost about 20 pounds in this whole process. Like, it was bad. But now, 1 year later, Chairman 50. He shows you that. So now guess what that should do for you? That should make you say, dang, if he'll do that for Riyadh, he can do the same thing for me. If Riyadh worked for that and he taught about this whole faith thing, let me just give it a shot. Because you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Let me just try it out. Let me just see if it'll work. I don't know what'll happen, but let me just give it a try. It might not work, but I'm better off trying than not trying. Man, God is so good, because something else just dropped in my spirit for you guys. It makes me think about, and we're going to be done after this. This is the last thing. And if you get this, I promise, everything is going to be complete for you. Man, whether you believe in the story or not, you got to get this. I believe it. There's a story, right? Man, wow, this is so freaking good. This is so good, yo. This is so good. It goes right with what I just said. Because you're better off trying than not trying. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. It may seem impossible because nobody has done it in your family. Nobody has done it around you. You probably never seen anybody do this. But sometimes when you get the right exposure, sometimes when you see the right thing, your faith can build up. So there was a story about a carpenter. This carpenter so happened to be walking on water. I need you to really get this. And we're getting off the call, because this should be enough to make your spirit feel uplifted. And I don't want to overcook the grits after this topic, right? So there was a carpenter. The carpenter began to walk on water. The carpenter actually sent his clique, his homeboys, up the water ahead of him. He caught up to them walking on the water. Nobody had ever seen anybody walk on water, ever. They never seen anybody walk on water. God dang it, I hope you get this. Like, nobody in your family has probably ever made six figures. Nobody in your family has probably made $50,000 a month. You probably never met anybody making $50,000 per month. But now, I'm looking right at you in your face. Just how that carpenter, right? Just how that carpenter was walking on water. People had never seen this carpenter walking on water. Why is the carpenter walking on water? But guess what? This random guy by the name of Peter sees it. And guess what happens to Peter's faith? Peter said, if he walking on water, let me just give it a shot and see if I can walk on water. I need you to really get this. I'm going somewhere with this. Let me see if I can walk on water. So guess what the carpenter says? The carpenter says, Peter, come on out here. Like I'm telling every single person on this call, right? Come on out here. Jump. Just give it a shot, because you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Oh my goodness. Guess what Peter started doing? Peter gets out and Peter starts walking on water to the carpenter. Couple things in this message. The first thing is, was Peter really walking on water, or is Peter really walking on faith? That's the first thing. The second thing in this whole message, right? The second thing in this whole message is, why was Peter the only one that decided to get out and get to walking? It was 11 other people there, but only one person got out and got to walking. But everybody was exposed. God dang it, I need you to get this. Everybody was exposed. Everybody saw somebody doing something that they had never seen before. It was 12 people. Only one got out to go walk. Now, third thing. When Peter took his eyes off the goal, when Peter took his eyes off the vision and put it on his sight, what was happening around him, the waves, the water, he began to sink. When he began to look at the distraction and his focus became broken, while we talk about the number one cause of failure is broken focus, Peter looked at the distraction, and guess what? He began to sink into the water. He began to sink into the water. But I need you to get this last part. Because this is the final point. Because Peter got out of the boat, because Peter started walking on the water, because Peter got the right exposure that allowed him to start walking on the water, the same exposure that everybody else got, they didn't do anything. Peter got to start walking, right? Even though Peter took his eyes off the goal and focused on a distraction, do you understand that Peter was closer to the carpenter than anybody else was? So Peter was closer to the goal than anybody else was just because he got out the boat. So sometimes, listen, all you got to do is jump. And you're going to find yourself in the right place. Because exposure is evidence that somebody favors you, because they wouldn't have exposed you to it. So all you got to do is jump and go see what it's talking about. Just give it a freaking shot like Peter did. Because if the boat would have got shipwrecked, if the water and the waves would have came and just destroyed the whole boat, he was closer to the goal. He was closer to the carpenter than anybody else in the boat was. So literally, all you got to do is jump, family. That's all you got to do. That's all I did 3 years ago when the Detroit Lions cut me and I was at home at my mom's house, who's now Platinum 600, sleeping on a twin-size bed. So listen, family, that's all I got. I don't want to overcook the grits. I hope you got something from this call tonight. I love these calls each and every single Monday because the things that I've read, the things that I've experienced, the things that the Spirit just gives me, right? Because the Spirit is the best teacher, the best counselor. I can just give them to you guys. And you guys get the exposure of what's possible if you truly have faith. First, you become rich in faith, and then you become rich in your finances. I'm a living testimony. Thank you all for your time. I love you all, and I'll see you at the bank. Good night. God bless. Recording will be out soon.